What's up, everybody? JT with the night shift here. Where's all my nighttime DK guys at? We're going to talk Ridley today. I got my little chart pulled up for y'all too. Um, I'm slowly but surely learning all the 17 stacks. I don't really make it a point to memorize them. Talked about it last night. I'm still going back and forth in my head if I want to really lean into it like I have the years past, or if I'm really starting to wonder is so many people just naturally feeling they have to game stack everything in week 17, especially where I play more at, which is DK. I'm almost wondering if maybe a better strategy is just focus on the higher scoring teams and the teams in really good situations in general. And yes, we definitely want to make sure we have our team stacks, our quarterbacks stacked up. And when I can get some week 17 stacks here and there, I do, but I'm not going out of my way like I did the last couple of years because it's just so overblown, I feel. Not overblown. It's important, but then if everybody's doing it at the same time, maybe contrarian is the way to go. Anyways, let's talk Ridley. Are you in on him? Are you out on him? I should have really talked about him more like, say, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right after the contest just came out. On DraftKings, at least, he was going around the 70s there for a while. And the players he was around, I just felt he was a smash. So I was taking him in a lot of drafts. I mean, last year the dude had a little over 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns, which by far was the lowest of his career. Before that, the lowest he ever had was 7. I mean, in the year before, in 2023, when he came back to football after a 2-year break, essentially, he had 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns with Trevor Lawrence. And I was really looking at his numbers from last year because clearly his quarterbacks were bad. I mean, it was a combination of Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. They threw for a total of 22 TDs and 21 interceptions. But the stat that really jumped out at me, because I believe Ridley is a good receiver, was the fact that he had 120 targets, only catching 64 of them. Now, I myself do not believe that it's because Ridley's not good at catching the football. He's always had good hands. He's always made good catches. If you look at him on any of the advanced stats, he's not really a big drops guy or anything like that. Probably it was due to the quarterback and their inaccuracy. One of Ward's strengths, or at least as a prospect, they say one of his strengths is he's pretty accurate with the football and he can make really good decisions with the football for the most part. Now, you put that with the fact that Ridley has always been an excellent route runner, can separate out of his breaks pretty well because of his quickness. He's got good hands. I don't know. In general, I'm in on Tennessee this year. As far as their schedule, they have some juicy games throughout, but in the playoffs alone, 2 games they're going to be playing from behind. Probably. They play at San Francisco in week 15. They're probably playing from behind, probably throwing the ball. They play at Kansas City week 16, probably playing from behind, probably having to throw the ball. And week 17, they play New Orleans, which most people don't think New Orleans is going to be pretty good. I don't think New Orleans is going to be good. So that could definitely be a game they run up the score in. Tennessee's defense isn't going to be that great either. Maybe it just turns into kind of a shootout. Maybe having a Ward Ridley with a Rashid Shaheed bring back is a good little week 17 pairing that not necessarily everybody's on, like some of the ones in the earlier rounds. Throughout the season, they have some other good games, that should be inducive for scoring. They play the Cardinals, they play the Chargers, they play the Seahawks, who I don't think will be that good. Defense probably won't be that great. They play the Rams. They're definitely Probably going to have to throw the ball in that game to stay with them. They play the Raiders. Everybody thinks the Raiders is going to play at a really fast pace just because of Chip Kelly. That's what he did when he was in the NFL last 2 times. They're assuming that's what he's going to do this time. Anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about him at the beginning today. He's moved up to around about 63 right now in ADP. Myself, I kind of feel he's in a really good spot. I mean, the only guys who really go right ahead of him, who I could say I'm for sure going to probably take Ridley over them, would be Debo and Connor. I'm not really a big Connor guy. If I'm really in need of a running back right there, I'll take Connor. But in general, I'll take Ridley over Connor. I'll take Ridley over Debo. If you start getting a little ahead of those two, then I do like the receivers better. So now that he moved up from the right around 70 to about 63, I think he's at a really good value myself. You know, other guys that kind of go right around him, Montgomery, Godwin. A lot of people are drafting Godwin. I'm not drafting Godwin right now. It's not that I don't think the Bucs offense will be really good. I think their offense in general will be really good, but they have a lot of mouths to feed. And yeah, I know Canales, went to Carolina and then they were still good with the other guy, but now they got a new OC. Are they going to be good with whoever the new OC now is? I can't think of his name. And then just in general, there's a lot of mouths to feed. I mean, you got Mike Evans, you got the rookie that they drafted in the first round. And yes, right now, all the talk is that Godwin's knee is going to be okay and everything, and all the reports are seeming good. But if they really felt that great and comfortable about his knee and his legs and his injuries over the last few years, would they really have drafted a first-round wide receiver? Maybe still. I don't know. Anyways, that's Ridley. I always forget to take it off that screen. Sorry, guys. Tonight, we're going to do one of these little $3 drafts first. I don't know. We'll see how the night's going. I may hop into a $20 one next. If anybody wants to get into the $3 one with me, you're more than welcome to join me. We are still waiting on a bunch of people. I'm going to send a little message out real quick to a certain little group that I'm in. Anyways, I hope everybody's week's going pretty good. We had a little technical difficulty last night. If you saw my stream last night, sorry about that. We were in the middle of a draft, and I don't really know exactly what happened, but my computer just totally froze up on me, locked up, wouldn't do anything. None of the buttons would work. Nothing. It just froze up on me. So we just kind of cut the stream short right there. It took me probably about 8 or 9 minutes to reload everything, get the computer turned back on and working and stuff. I was afraid that it would freeze up again, or I didn't really know what was going on. So we didn't hop back in the stream. We just finished that draft out on our phone, called it an early night. If you missed last night, though, I think we want to mix it up a little bit. We talked about it last night on stream. Sundays, we're going to start calling it Sunday Fun Day. We're going to take a little break from the DraftKings drafts, and we're going to do some eliminators, 2 or 3 of them, something like that. Just depending on how the night goes and what time we get started and all that good stuff. Still trying to work out my exact times I want to do, so you guys bear with me. I was thinking as somebody new in the space, one of the things that, is important is kind of finding, a consistent time and all that good stuff. And I know there's a guy who actually has a really good stream who I like watching sometimes too, called The Best Ball Guy. I thought he was kind of done most of the time by 9:45, but I know tonight he's streaming and everything. And as of about 15 minutes ago, I was listening to him and he was still live. So I don't know. Maybe we'll end up pushing it back a little more till 10. I'd like to kind of find that late window when everybody else is kind of off of their streams, and I can kind of have the space a little more to myself, but trying to walk that fine line and find it where it's like not too late for people to come and hang with us, but also an open space. But in the meantime, we like talking ball to the ones that are here, so I'm glad you are. And we like drafting teams, and we're going to be drafting teams all summer. So here we are. This one's taking a little bit to fill up. Hopefully we'll have a couple more join here in just a second. We'll get this thing going. You guys let me know in the chat. Are you enjoying the dedicated Monday through Friday DK streams? I know I said I'm going to start doing the eliminators on Sunday. Would you guys want to see me do more underdog type stuff? Or do you like the fact that I'm sticking just to DK for the most part, Monday through Friday? Let me know. I'm open to tweaking things here and there. Be nice if the room filled up. There we go. It's getting there. If you hopped in the draft by chance and you also found my stream, let me know and we'll be sure to shout you out in the draft. Here we go. We are rocking with the third pick. We'll see what kind of elite player we pull with that one. I don't recognize any names off the top of my head in our room, but again, if you are in here, let me know. We'll give you a quick shout out. And as always, as it goes, we'll talk about certain players, strategies, all that good stuff. Try to keep an eye on what some of the other teams are doing. If you missed my extreme video the other day where I ended up only taking one QB, I'm going to try to do maybe one of those a week, somewhere in that range. I put them in a playlist for you guys so it's easy to find on my channel. There's a playlist called Extreme. From time to time when we see something really bad, we're also going to keep doing the When Drafts Gone Wrong series. I'll make a playlist for that as well so you guys can easily find everything. If you happen to find your way by my channel, I'd appreciate it if you're not already subbed. If you like DK, if you're a late night drafter, hit that sub button and come hang out with us again. We're trying to get to 50 by the end of May. I think we're on a pretty good path. We got 38 of them. Need a few more of them. While you're pushing that button, you might as well go ahead and push the like button too. It helps out a lot and we really appreciate it. Tonight we switched back up as far as our rankings. When I draft, I like to have rankings plugged in just to see who so with my rankings, what I use is I kind of use people's, but I really use my own in my head. And what I mean by that is if I'm plugging ETR's rankings in, the main reason that I use ETR's rankings, somebody went JJ in the first. That's the first time I've seen it in the one spot. Could we possibly get Chase in the 3 hole? Do we have a Barkley in the 2 hole? We couldn't be that lucky. Nobody gets Chase at 3, right? I'll tell you, I do wish DraftKings eventually, maybe next year, could go to the 20-second clock. We're going to go ahead and go Barkley. Barkley in the 3 hole. I haven't taken him in a while. I did it wasn't on stream or anything, but another guy, Chad Candles, who always streams really early in the morning, he was streaming some puppies this morning. And when I get home from taking my kids to school and eating my breakfast and stuff, I've been listening to his stream. He's pretty good. And anyways, I hopped in there with him and another guy who's streaming, Who Hames. He was in there. It was a whole bunch of guys that I know in there. And it was the first time, at least this year. I don't remember if I did one last year, but it was the first time I did a live draft over there on Underdog and used the 20-second clock. I did a couple puppies and used the 30-second clock. So far, all my eliminators I have done have been slow drafts that I have going. But it was nice, though. It makes the draft just fly by. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. Jitty hit the 7 spot. We'll see what the 8 spot does. McCaffrey's starting to get pulled up a little more, I've noticed. You know, a couple weeks ago, McCaffrey was consistently going there in the early second round. And now this is the last time, and not the last time, this is in the last couple nights, I've seen McCaffrey go, you know, in that 9, 10, 11 spot. So he's starting to kind of get pulled up some in the first round. Henry also. Henry used to go. You used to be able to get Henry in the middle of the second a couple weeks ago when it first came out. Sometimes even the end of the second. Now he's starting to get pushed up to the first. All right, the 12 hole. Call it back for you guys from the back to the front like I do. That's just, I don't know. I like to kind of start that way once we hit round 2. In the 12 hole, we have Puka and Taylor. The 11 hole started with Henry and Nico. 10 spot went Neighbors and Brian Thomas. The 9 spot with the McCaffrey Achan start. Double running back. The 8 hole went with the Sun God and Bowers. The 7 hole grabbed Genty, and we'll see who his other player is. We're going to flip over to the list for a minute, kind of start seeing what we want to do. I doubt he stays on the board, but if he did, we could go with a complete team stack or try to work that way with A.J. Brown. Ladd is there now, but Ladd won't be there. Somebody will grab Ladd by the time it gets to him. Or maybe not. Don't really want to get Allen. I don't like taking the quarterback in the second round. Don't really want to go McBride. Don't really want to go Jacobs either, though. Kind of actually hoping, okay, there we go. We'll get one of them, either Ladd or A.J. Brown. I have no problem taking Ladd, and he went. I haven't done any Eagles big stacks yet. I think I have one team where I have Brown and Hurts. And I have, you know, I have Brown on a decent amount of teams and Barkley on a decent amount of teams. But we don't have any where we have just the complete package. We'll see if we can't make it work. Maybe we'll just try to really stack it up. Like to get Higgins here if he stays. We'll see if he goes. If not, don't really want Terry, and I don't really want one of the quarterbacks. And they're going to let us get Higgins, so we'll take him. So we started Barkley, Brown, and Higgins. The 1 hole over there with Jefferson, Mike Evans, and Cook. That's a little unique combo there. Evans normally doesn't go there. Evans normally goes more like near the end of the 3rd round-ish. I see you over there, Kerry Quartz. Really different, that's for sure. 2 hole went Chase, McBride, Allen. We, of course, went Barkley, Brown, and Higgins. Yeah, I definitely think Ridley's a good pick. I like him right where he's at now, honestly. I was smashing him. He was a big target of mine a couple weeks ago. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he was sitting more in around right around 70, 71 was his ADP. And then I really liked him where he was at. And so he was definitely a big target. The area he's kind of moved to now, right around 63. I think he kind of fits really nice there. We'll look at it real quick. I think it's right around 63 I saw earlier. Yeah, I still like Pickens just as well as him, and his ADP's higher, so most of the time I'd probably go Pickens over Ridley. I think I do trust Dak a little more than the rookie. Definitely I like Flowers more. Definitely I like J-Mo just for his explosive ceiling weeks a little more, I think. Plus those guys' ADP is more, so you know if it comes down to a pick between Ridley and J-Mo, I'm going to take J-Mo because there's always a better chance Ridley will come back to me and I get both. Kind of like Waddle, right around the same as Ridley. So he's in a really good spot right now, I think. Sorry about that. Let's flip it back over to the board, see what everybody's doing. Mixon went a little ahead. We got some reachers in here. Mixon normally doesn't go around 37. He goes a little later than that normally. That 1 hole's pulling people up. It can work. That's a good strategy sometimes, to pull people up, get different combinations. I like to do that more later in the summer. Like, once we get to August, some of these guys kind of been going in the same spot in the board pretty much the whole summer. To me, that's more of the time to really, all right, let's pull Mike Evans up now. He's been going at the, 3-4 turn all summer long. Let's start pulling him up sometimes to the 2-3 turn just to get some unique combos because he's not going to probably ever really fall to the 5-6 turn. Thanks, man. Have a safe flight. Get back home. All right, let's see. It's getting back to us now. Let's flip back over. We got Barkley and Brown. So just because I haven't done it this year, I may try to get the triple. We may just try to stack up the whole Eagles, but I think myself, since I already have Brown, I think I maybe want to play it with Hurts first, because Hurts is a guy that people sometimes can take unstacked. The way that 1 hole is kind of, just being really different. He took Jefferson, Evans, and Cook. I would not really want Barkley, Brown, and Smith all on the same team, and especially if I don't have Hurts with it. So I think we're going to take Hurts here. And then hope that Smith flips back around to us. It's a lot, 4 of my first 5 picks, all from the Eagles, but the Eagles are a really good team. I haven't done it yet. It's not something that I want to do a lot. But hey, we'll stack it up. I probably won't draft another quarterback for a while. I'll probably try to make sure I have enough running back and receiver depth to where if it's a game Barkley doesn't do a lot, I got other running backs. If it's a game the Eagles don't pass a lot, I have other receivers that can come through for me. Hurts is always going to have a decent little floor for you. Probably go 3 late round tight ends with this team just to make sure we have enough pick firepower. Well, Devontae Smith went, so we don't have to worry about that, which is fine. We have Barkley and we have Hurts and we have Brown. That's enough of the Eagles. I just talked about last night. I can't get there on Hunter, but I do like the rookie Hampton, so we're going to take him. Got us 2 running backs that we feel good about. We got a quarterback already. We'll still probably hold off on tight end. It's hard for me to pass on Kittle and Hawkinson. They've been my favorite 2 tight ends to pick, but we did take a quarterback and we did take 2 running backs already, so we don't want to fall too far behind on receiver. So we definitely will make sure we start adding some more to the wide receiver room as we go. I don't know. I want to be in on Hunter. It's really weird. I want to be in on him, but I'm just trusting my gut. And my gut tells me that he's going to have a few big games here and there, but whether it's because he gets hurt or banged up, he's not that big of a guy. He's right about my size. I know I would get banged up playing in the NFL. We'll see, though. Maybe I'll come around on him a little more. I definitely don't like him whenever people take him right here at the end of round 4. If he starts moving right in here a little more even, if he starts getting back there behind Godwin, Worthy is kind of where it gets interesting to me. If I don't have Jalen, which on this team I would have taken Smith just because I already took Jalen. But if I don't have Jalen, I'm not really that in on Smith. I do like Hampton. That's one player that keeps me from drafting Hunter. I like Tet over Hunter. I like Rice over Hunter, which he generally always goes before him. Kittle went early this draft. He normally doesn't go right there in the middle of 4. You can get him a lot of times in round 5. But you guys let me know in the comments if you would like me to continue the Monday through Friday night dedicated DK drafts. If you'd like to see me mix it up a little more. We talked about last night that I'm going to start doing Eliminator Sundays. We're going to call it Sunday Fun Day. Probably around the same time, 9:45. I don't know. I'm debating if I want to jump back to 10 o'clock. Push it back a little further. I can't really start too much later than 10. Or then it would be really hard sometimes to get 2 drafts in and still get to bed at a somewhat decent hour. And as summer gets here, actually, once we get to the heart, more like July and stuff, I'll do 3 drafts on a stream sometimes. If the stream's going well and everything, we're having a good time, talking some ball, all that good stuff. But, that's just things I'm trying to find out. And I would like my viewers who have been kind enough to sub and follow me and hang with me to let me know what y'all like. If y'all want me to keep just, doing the Monday through Friday DK thing, since there's not a lot of people out there really doing it, that's what I like drafting on anyways. I just know their system really well. I know their ADPs better than I do on Underdog because that's what I've played the most the last couple of years. But we can switch it up. I definitely don't see me going away from DK. If anything, maybe mixing it up a little more. Maybe do like a Wednesday and Sunday. Switch over to Underdog type thing. Let me know on the time too. Would 10 o'clock be too late for you guys? Would you come hang out if I started at 10? I don't know if most of my viewers are West Coast, East Coast. I am in the Central Time Zone myself. We're just trying to figure it out though. Trying to figure out where we fit best and what works for us and all that good stuff. Now, we talked about him at the beginning of the stream. And I know the room is not going to let us get the breakdown player Calvin Ridley past ADP on stream. That just wouldn't happen. So we're going to assume that Cap City is going to take him right here. But if he doesn't, then we almost kind of have to take the spotlight player, Mr. Calvin Ridley. That would be a really nice backup QB too to pair with the Hurts. Let's see what this guy does. He went Debo, might have been an auto pick. All right, we're going to take Ridley, and then we will definitely keep Ward in mind as a backup QB. Probably stick with 2 QBs. We might go 3. We'll see. I'd keep going with DK streams. There's so many Underdog streams. Yeah, I hear you. I thought about that. The one thing about earlier is I know the only reason or I know keep messing that up. Sorry about that. Let me make this pick real quick and then we'll finish our conversation. Another guy that I'm kind of in on, and I heard some good little coach speak stuff about him today, is Rome. So we're going to take him. Then we can flip it over to the board for you guys because it would be a minute before he gets back to us. The only thing we're going earlier is I know Best Ball Guy streams a decent amount at night, and he's been around a couple years. I think he has a pretty decent sized channel. So I'm really trying to find that fine line of, okay, most people are off, kind of be the nightcap guy that hopefully people comes and hangs out with and stuff. And also, especially once summer rolls around here, I have 3 teenage to pre-teenage daughters, and they don't go to bed quite as early during the summertime. And so it'd be hard for me to consistently do, like, say, a 9 o'clock because a lot of times we might have stuff going on. So then I'd be either running late or some days doing 10, some days doing 9, some days doing 9:30. I don't know. I was just trying to kind of find a more consistent time, I guess. So that's why I've been doing it about 9:30, 9:45 because I know by then my kids will be in bed and everything. Only reason I like Ridley is because Ward is so cheap. Yeah, I mean, Ward is cheap, and I talked about it at the beginning of the video, though. One thing when I was looking into Ridley, and the stat that popped out to me the most has to do with who his crappy quarterbacks was last year. Let me find my little note card. I had it on. He had 120 targets because, let's face it, there's not a whole lot else there. But out of those 120 targets, he only caught 64 of them. Ridley's always been known as a pretty reliable, pretty sure-handed type guy. So I would like to think that the reason he missed about half of his targets was because of the crappy QB play. Ward is kind of known for, as a prospect at least, one of his upsides is that he has really good hands and all that stuff. He's not really known for dropping passes. Felix did a 24-hour stream last year. That was crazy. I jumped in a couple. Oh wow, yeah, that would be crazy. I don't know if I could do something like that. Maybe someday down the road. There is a day in June. I think it's like we talked about it yesterday. I think it's June 20th. I have to look again. It's a Friday, but I'm going to be going out of town for about a week. I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to take my stuff with me, and as long as our Airbnb's Wi-Fi is pretty good, I'm going to stream at least a couple nights still. Probably won't do every night that week, but at least a couple. But anyways, the Friday before I leave, I believe it's the 20th in June. I'm gonna try to do a longer one, and if I haven't brought people on by then, I'm gonna try to bring on some people. I've starting to make some pretty good contacts with some of the other streamers who are try up and coming. Most of them are a little bigger than me and been doing it a little longer than me, but try to have a few guests on. What's up, Hartman? Glad you stopped through. Um, but that'll be later in June. I think it's June 20th. That one I'm gonna try to start earlier. I'm gonna try to start like maybe I don't know 6:30 in the evening or something, and I'll stay up as late as people want to hang out and talk ball. We'll do a whole bunch of drafts. But it'll be a lot of fun. I'm gonna start reaching out. I got a couple people in mind that I wouldn't mind bringing on, who's been really helpful for me so far as just helping me with stuff. And sorry, I always hit that wrong button for you guys. Sorry about that. Let's hop over here and get ready to make our pick real quick. Then we'll talk some more. So we went Barkley, Hurts, and Brown. We got the nice little Eagle thing going. We took Hampton. Got a total of 4 receivers. We're kind of at the point where we can kind of just take. I think right here I'm going to go with a little bit of a discount on Golden, I mean. I like Golden. We could go Caleb as our backup QB since we took Rome. Pick 99. We'll see what else is on the board for us there. Think we're going to end up going with late tight ends for this particular team. I'm not really in on Loveland. He's got a knee injury. I really haven't heard people talking about it. Or shoulder injury. Sorry, I thought it was a knee. But shoulder injury, blah, blah, blah. He's still not really doing anything in OTAs. We'll see. I have not been drafting Loveland myself because I want to see exactly, how long that injury holds him out. Do they kind of push for him to get back? Does it take him a while to get back? We've had some teams lately where we kind of end up going with gross combinations of QBs in the late rounds because we push people and we don't get away with it. In general, that's how I like to draft. I like to try to push the QBs around. When it works, you can get some really nice teams. But with this team, I like Rome. And we're going to take Caleb because I also know with the soft tissue stuff, Burden has been falling a little bit in drafts. So I'm thinking there might be, a decent chance we can kind of get Burden at a good little discount. Doesn't sound like it's nothing serious. It does kind of scare me a little that it's soft tissue. Maybe somebody will take him before us and we won't even really have to make that decision. Yeah, that's part of it. Honestly, I just think it'll be fun. That's honestly one of the main reasons I started streaming. I'll be honest. Nobody knew me in the industry. I haven't ever worked in like fantasy football, or anything like that. I'm just a dude, who loves fantasy stuff for years. Been playing it for over 20 years and got pretty decent at DFS. Made some good money there, and then kind of got obsessed with best ball 3 years ago and quit playing DFS to just kind of do best ball all summer long, pretty much. And nowadays, I might do a little DFS here and there, but for the most part, I just do a ton of best ball. The first year that I did a whole lot of it, I had pretty good luck. I made a finals team. We talked about it last night. Had bad luck. It was the game that got canceled. I had Chase on my team in that finals. But I really did this. We'll see where it goes. I told myself I don't like to quit things, and so I told myself I'm gonna give it 2 years. Stream all this summer. I got some ideas that I really want to try during the regular season that still kind of revolve around best ball a little bit. Probably not like an every night stream during the season, but at least, try to do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing or something. Um, and we'll see, we'll see how it goes. If it will not be necessarily how big or not big my channel is. It'll just be like, hey, after 2 years, am I still enjoying it? I mean, am I still enjoying it? Am I having fun doing it? Which I think I will. That's why I started it. I love to talk about football. I love to draft best ball teams. Seems like a really good combination. The community seems like, really good and everything. Like I said, a lot of the other streamers who I would consider small streamers, but they're bigger than my channel, they've been real friendly. They've been real welcoming in their discords and all that stuff. Baker at 412. Gotta love DK. I didn't even notice that. I hadn't been paying too much attention to the whole board today, to be honest with you. Hey, that one hole's been drafting like that all night, though. He started off taking Jefferson, and then he pulled Evans up. Evans is normally over there on that backside. He took Cup, Warren. He's being different, that's for sure. We got us two nice quarterbacks. We started with Barkley. We went Brown, and then we grabbed Higgins. Went ahead and stacked Brown and Barkley with Hurts for the team stack. Picked up Hampton, Ridley, Rome, Golden, and Caleb as it comes around to us in round 10. Where are we at? 118. Not right now, but on the backside, we might try to get Coleman. Wouldn't mind grabbing another running back here. I don't love any of those tight ends right now at this price. We're going to take Charbonnet. I like Charbonnet. He's going to play even with Walker healthy. Gives us a third running back. There's been a little bit, I wouldn't call it big rumors or anything, but I have heard a little chatter here and there about potentially one of them, either Walker or Charbonnet, getting maybe traded. I don't think it would be Walker, so maybe Charbonnet ends up somewhere like Dallas or something. That'd be interesting. Don't really want to do that. Coleman just went. We were thinking about maybe taking Coleman for kind of the Philly stack, the bring back for week 17. I know Buffalo and Philly play each other. Another guy later in the draft we can throw on there to try to make that happen is Ray Davis. I don't know what we want to do here. Could do Kincaid. Don't really love any of these receivers right here. It's kind of that spot in the draft where I don't really like a lot in this part of the draft, honestly. Sometimes it can be kind of tough. I'm going to go ahead and grab us a tight end. And even though Goddard would generally make more sense with Hurts, I'm going to get Kincaid. I'm not high on Kincaid in general, but we do already have Brown and we do already have Barkley and Hurts. Maybe Kincaid is the bring back we need in that week 17 game when we make the finals with this team. Kincaid didn't do anything really in week 15 and 16, so Kincaid's a really low-owned guy, and he goes about 6 for 70 with 2 touchdowns as the Bills and the Eagles shoot it out in week 17. That's how we're going to draw this one up at least. And his ADP is a little higher, so if I really want Goddard on the team, he might actually come back. Yes, sir. That's what it is. They could trade Walker. They don't want to pay him. He's a free agent after this season. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it from the contract aspect. But I think Walker is going to be if they keep him, if they work something out with him, if he's willing to play without an extension this year. I think he'll be a really good fit in that system. I talked about it the other night. Waldron 2 years ago kind of ran a little bit of the zone scheme stuff that Kubiak should bring over. And I went back and I was watching some 2023 film on Walker, and there was several plays throughout the film that I was watching from 23 where like it was your typical zone run. And what I noticed is that he is so quick when they run the outside zone. He's so quick getting to that edge, to that outside, that you could see teams, overplaying it. And then there was a few plays where he did a really good job of seeing that the defense was overplaying it, and instead of carrying it to the outside zone, he cut it right up the gut for a pretty big run, straight up the middle, basically. So I think he could have a pretty good year in that system. But yeah, Hartman, to get back to, why I started this, I'm a very realistic person, and it would be a long time before probably I would be at a point. Best ball would have to one and grow a whole lot more, which it could. There's a lot of just regular fantasy people who don't even know about best ball. You'd be surprised. I've cut my season long leagues down to about the 3 that I've been in forever. And one of them in particular, there's about 5 or 6 guys in there who are just, diehard fantasy football guys, talk it all year long, just like us best ball guys do. They're a little bit older than me, most of them, and they really do not even know what best ball is. Like, I mean, they know what it is, but they don't. Like, I was explaining it to them in our little chat or whatever when I first started this up, and was asking them if they was into it. So there is room for growth, but no, I didn't get in this, thinking, oh, I'm gonna, blow up, and next year I'm gonna be making all this money. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I'm gonna be drafting all summer anyways, and I love talking ball, and my wife does not like talking football, and I wanted more people to talk football with. Basically, is what it boils down to. Let's see what we want to do here. Goddard did not come back. We could go with Pitts as another tight end. I am not afraid to draft Kyle Pitts still. Probably shouldn't. We're going to go Pitts here. Had to get my finger going quick before we missed it. And then I think for my next pick, everybody loves Tootin. And I haven't been big on Tootin, but this is the spot that I would take him if he stays. I mean, we're getting almost 20 pick discount on him if he stays, which he did. So, hey, I'll take a chance on the rookie in the 140s. I don't really like his 129 ADP, but at 140 something, that's definitely the time to go get us a share of him. I myself prefer drafting Bigsby over Tootin. Not necessarily ahead of him, because Tootin's ADP is a lot higher. What I mean by that, though, is I think Bigsby is still definitely going to be a thing, and he is cheaper. Agree. Walker could smash if he stays healthy. Yes, that is definitely always the question with him. Same here. No one in my redraft league plays best ball. I haven't seen Tootin go that late before. Yeah, me neither. I was really surprised that he was there when I went to see what running backs was there. I know this is the range that generally I start looking for Bigsby around the late, 140s, because I'm still in on Bigsby. I know, everybody really down on him still from last year because he wasn't that. I mean, from 2 years ago, his rookie year, he let us down. We liked him as a prospect. Then he came in and was absolutely horrible. Had the one game early in the season that was really, really bad, and then just never could really get on track with that. That said, he looked really good last year, and Is it overblown that Tootin had fumbling issues in college and day one of training camp he's fumbling again, or OTAs or whatever, he's fumbling again? Might be overblown, but sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. Sometimes. So I don't know. I don't like Tootin where he goes in the 120s. There's other guys that I like there. So I just been focusing more on Bixby. But that's actually who I clicked on running backs thinking, this is about the time I would start looking to get Bigsby as a running back. And I saw he was there, and I do like him in the 140s. If him and Bigsby were right around the same ADP, 145 to 150, I would probably just split it up and half the time take one, half the time take other. We might go ahead and go 3 QBs. It's DraftKings. We have some extra picks. And if we get the discount on Ward, we wouldn't mind taking him. I like Chig. I can get Chig as a late tight end for a double stack with him even. Don't want to put anybody else with Hurts. I'll just keep Barkley, Hurts, and Brown. We have Caleb and Rome. There's not really any other Bears that I'm interested in putting. We also like Keenan Allen as it gets a little later in the draft. He's going to sign somewhere, and as soon as he does, he's going to start going up the board a whole lot. So while he's where he's at, I will continue to draft him. As we get close here to 166, I'm just going to leave it on the players list for a minute since we're about to be on us. We're trying to see what we want to do. We're going to probably either go with Ray Davis or Cam Ward. Let's see. They both have a quarterback. He has 2 quarterbacks with Allen, 5 running backs. He might take... I'm going to go ahead and get Davis because the Allen drafter is right there. So he might put Davis on there for a team stack. If Ward does go, it's not that big a deal. I mean, we already have Caleb and Hurts. Ward at 171, though, would just be a steal as a third quarterback. Sorry about that. Paired with Ridley. So we'll see. If it makes it to this guy, that guy I think had 2 QBs. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he had 2 QBs, so I don't think he would take him. Oh, and Russell Wilson just went at 168. It's a little early on him, I think. Maybe not. I don't remember exactly where he goes because I don't draft him. Strange. Yeah, I think there's a decent chance, unless he takes him as a third QB. He's got Allen in May, though, so there's really no reason for him to draft him. We might get a nice little 20-pick discount on Ward. If he does want to draft him unstacked when he already has Allen in May, guess you can't blame him since it's a big discount, but he let us have him. We'll take him. That's nice. The more, outs you can have in a playoff, the better, right? Like maybe, in weeks 15 and 16, it's either the Hurts and the Eagles, or maybe Rome and Caleb have a big game. Maybe we get to that week 17 game and, Tennessee plays New Orleans. Maybe New Orleans isn't even trying by then, and Cam Ward and Ridley just go nuts with each other for the win. Maybe a little overblown, but concerning for Tootin for sure, since ball security was his main concern pre-draft. Yeah. And I don't know, he goes, I think, around like 129 or so. It is that I think he gets pushed up there because he's a rookie and he's a running back and he's fast and he's exciting. And if you really look around that part of the board, there's not really a lot there to be excited about. I mean, we're not that excited for Trevor Lawrence, even though we love his top 2. Well, I'm not a Hunter guy. Y'all know that. But in general, the market loves Hunter. I do love Brian Thomas Jr. I love me some of him. We're not that excited to draft these tight ends. Nobody's excited for Dobbs. Nobody's excited for White. The real Kyle Pitts truthers will still draft him. But now we're getting more to like the 140s versus, the late 120s. Stroud, some of the quarterbacks you like there. Spears, Stevenson. That's why he goes there, because he's a rookie, he's fast, he's exciting. And all of those other guys right there from basically, about here in the mid 20s through the 130s, they're not exciting. So people are pushing the rookie up there. I don't really like the price, so I've been staying away. Yes, it feels really good. I was actually planning on just passing on Ward as a third QB, and I was thinking originally whenever I took Williams back in the where I take him back in the ninth round, I kind of was thinking I probably would go without a third QB, because I knew, especially like once I took Kincaid here and then Pitts, I was like, well, I know I want to go running back the next couple picks. Generally, Ward goes, closer to that 149, 150, somewhere in there. So I really thought we were just going to stick with two. But if the room wants to let me throw him on with Ridley this late in the draft, 20 picks past ADP, I am not going to pass it up. This one's getting somewhat down to the end. We got a few picks here left. I'll call it out number-wise, and then after these next two picks, we'll start recapping the team. We are rocking with a 3-5-5-2. We're definitely done at QB. Since we have Barkley, we may be done at running back. I'm okay capping it at 5 running backs. We have Hampton we feel like we can count on. We have Charbonnet. We have Tootin at a good discount. We have Ray Davis and Kincaid we drafted mainly because we have a nice little Eagles team stack going and they play in week 17. That's what I was saying at the beginning of this one too. I'm not like out per se on week 17 stuff. Let me make my pick real quick because we are on the clock here. I do like me some Pat Bryant late in the draft, so we're just going to make it an easy choice with that. And then on the way back, unless he goes, probably should have took him here. But I like Pat Bryant, and I think he has more upside than Chig. So we'll hope that with these two teams having 2 tight ends already, they let me get Chig to pair with Ward and Ridley, and that would even be better. Get off of that. See what these two guys are going to do. I like Pat Bryant a lot. I heard Who Hames talking about him earlier today. He's apparently even higher than I am on him, which I'm high on him, but it sounds like Who Hames is trying to move the market. Taysom Hill. People won't let that go either. He came through a couple weeks for people last year. We're going to grab Chig here. Hopefully he'll come to us. Don't think the guy that just took Hill will take another tight end. Hopefully Sudden Valley doesn't. We can get Chig. Then we can be done at tight end as well. I guess we'll start looking for a backup plan. We could always throw Lockett on there as a backup plan. I'm not afraid to draft Lockett, but I'd rather have Chig. He's a third tight end. For the team, we are rocking with Hurts, Caleb, and Ward at QB. Our running backs, we had Barkley in the first round. Then we took Hampton. We also have Charbonnet, Tootin, Ray Davis. We may end up going one more running back. Our receivers are A.J. Brown, Higgins, Ridley, Rome, Golden, and Pat Bryant. Tight ends, we have Kincaid for the Eagles bring back. And we also have Chig. And we also have the one, the only, probably going to let us down again. But we will keep drafting him from time to time, hoping that he doesn't. Y'all know the name. I don't have to say it. Yeah, I would agree with that to some part. I'm just trying to be like sneaky, I guess you could say, or different with it. Like in a nutshell, I'm not that big on Kincaid. I do not believe. I think this is probably the first team that I've taken Kincaid on that wasn't a Josh Allen team. But we never really know, right, what's going to happen. And so, like, I like this team that I'm putting together, and I could definitely, envision a scenario where the Eagles are winning the game. Buffalo has to kind of throw the ball. Maybe I get really lucky and Cook is out, so Ray Davis is playing running back for him. And Kincaid doesn't need to necessarily go off for like 120 yards or something like that, but he could luck box it into a little 5 for 60, but two of them be touchdown catches or something because the teams are shooting each other out and they get down there in the red zone and he runs some good routes for him and catches a couple of touchdown passes. The ones I'm really trying to stay away from personally are a lot of the first round ones, the Bowers and Neighbors, um, the Chase with McBride, those types. I just feel like there's going to be so many people, that have them. I guess that's just the old be contrarian from DFS days and, try to get to the thing that nobody's on. It's kind of makes it really hard for me to jump on that bandwagon. Yes, I agree. And I definitely will have a pretty big portfolio by the time it's all said and done. So that's why I'm just trying to do different things. That's where the whole I have that series I'm gonna do about once a week. That other people do it too. The extreme drafts or whatever. Just different things like that where it really kind of pushes you to get some different combinations. See what we want to do here. Maybe receiver. It's not really any that I like right now. I'm gonna go ahead and take one more running back just because I do like Giddens. I don't have JT on this team. That puts us at 6. We'll probably go ahead and get 2 more receivers on this team if I can scrape together some that I think are worth taking. I'm not a big Tesla guy. But again, just like we were talking about, I do want to mix up my portfolio. He has some juice to him for sure. There's just so many mouths to feed in that offense. But if he hangs around here, some of the guys that I'm not high on, I'll still take them when they're a little bit past ADP. I feel like, okay, at least I'm getting a little bit of a discount on them. Don't really want Amari. I think he's dust. Nobody seems to like Wicks, even though we loved him since they drafted Golden. But I do have Golden, so Wicks would make sense on this team because I am a team stacker. I feel like the more guys you have on the same team, that's always better in best ball. So I think we'll probably go with Wicks here. Don't really want to do like a fourth tight end team. Although my first one wasn't until Kincaid. And I hate the 20th round receivers. So I don't know. We may. I'll hop back to the board for y'all in a minute, but I want to look through this real quick because I do kind of like Sanders a little bit. I know I have Hurts, but I don't really want to do the Calterra thing. We could go for Mike Williams. He's good for a spike week here and there before he gets hurt again, which who knows how quick that will be. Hopefully one of those two will come back. So there's a lot of guys down here. Maybe even Wilson. There's not much there behind whatchamacallit. I don't really like any of these other receivers down here. I generally try to be done at receiver by the time we get to the 19th and 20th rounds. A lot of times I'll save like a tight end Or y'all know I like my boy Milroe back here, but he just doesn't make sense on this team. I'm not going to draft 4 quarterbacks when I already have Hurts and 2 others that I actually like. I'm in on Caleb this year. I'm in on the Bears. We'll see what flips back around to us. I think I'm going to do one more after this one tonight. Last night we were going to do 2, but it got cut short. We were in the middle of a draft. We were doing one of these little $3 ones, and I don't know what happened. My power was fine. My internet was fine, but the particular computer that I use for my streaming, it just totally froze up on me, locked up. None of the buttons would work. Nothing would work. So we just cut the stream off. Roman and Calvin Austin are definitely both valuable clicks now. Yeah, I haven't taken Austin. I have taken Roman. I have taken him on a couple teams. I think I started him. Yeah. I kind of like Sanders though, because I'm in on Carolina this year. I don't draft many 4 tight end teams, but also Kincaid is not normally my first. Pitts, I'm kind of just hoping if I can get 1 or 2 really big spike weeks from him, that would be nice. Chig, kind of same thing if we get a couple spike weeks out of him. Let's see, where we at? I think I'm at 7 receivers. We went Brown, Higgins. Ridley I like as a third. Then we got Rome and Golden. Then we got Bryant, who I like. I like Wicks, and he's paired with Golden as another Green Bay receiver. We got Barkley and Hampton, and if some injuries pop right, we could end up getting, usable flex weeks out of some of those running backs. I don't really like Mike Williams. I know I start him, but I like the rookie Trey Harris there, and I think he's just a way more explosive Mike Williams with a lot more juice and not a bunch of injuries already, baggage that he's carrying around. I think I'm going to go Sanders. I think I'm going to go ahead and make 4 tight ends. We can get by with 7 receivers. Still gives us 4 good ones that we can use most weeks to put 1 in the flex. Most weeks we can hopefully get something good out of Brown, Higgins, and Ridley. Then one of our other ones come through for us in the flex. We talked about Walker potentially getting traded. Let's recap it real quick. Nobody was in the draft with us, so I won't necessarily worry about recapping anyone else's teams. But it was a Hurts, Caleb, and Ward team as the 3 quarterbacks. Barkley, Hampton, Charbonnet, Tootin, Ray Davis. Threw Giddens on there as another 6th running back. Wide receiver, we just talked about him. We had Brown, Higgins, Ridley, Rome, Golden, Pat Bryant, and Wicks. And we ended up going with 4 tight ends since we didn't draft our first until Kincaid. We then went with Kyle Pitts, Chig, and we finished it off with Sanders because I just kind of liked him better than any of the bad receivers on the board. We're going to hop in another one. I like the way that one went overall. We're feeling pretty good. We're going to do a $20 one this time. We didn't do one last night since the computer froze. We were going to do the $3 one, and then we were going to hop in a $20 one. I'm going to send a quick little message out in this one chat. And if anybody is in and wants to hop in, we're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's jump in it. And we only need one more. See if we recognize any of the names. And we got the first pick. Let's see what we want to do with the one hole today. I don't recognize any of the names off the top of my head. I played with some guys before. I don't know them. I've been in drafts with him before, Richie Bear. I want to say I've been in drafts with that guy before. I kind of recognize the picture. I myself am definitely still right now at this point in the summer take Chase when I get the one pick guy. You almost have to take him there to get your shares if you want it. Last draft, guy pulled Jefferson up to the one and Chase went two, but that hasn't happened in any drafts that I've been in the two spot. In general, I like Chase better than Barkley. I like Chase better than Jefferson just because I trust the quarterback a lot more. So when I get the one spot, I definitely take advantage of it. Try to get me as many Chase shares as I can. I can't do DK after they dropped all the free entries for pre-draft. what what makes you what about that makes you stop doing DK? I'm just curious. I don't think I quite understand what you're meaning by that, Hartman. Oh, and here we go. 2-1, and we will take our Jamar Chase. I need to look at my percentages soon. I told myself when the drafts came out, at least for the first few weeks, I was going to make myself not look at my percentages because I don't want to be turned away from things that I think is wrong right now with the market. And I know if I looked at my percentages and I saw, oh wow, you're at 30 something percent Chipley, and oh wow, are you really at 35% Milrow? That I'm gonna probably I don't know those are my percentages. I haven't looked, but I know naturally my thought would be, oh, you better slow down on that. But all of the guys that I am drafting a whole lot right now in those later rounds are all guys that I feel like will definitely move up once we really get into the heart of training camp and everything. So those are definitely guys that I am definitely comfortable drafting as much as I am right now. So I don't know, maybe once we get to June and when training camps get ready to get in full gear and stuff, I'll probably look at my percentages and see if there's anybody that I'm really high on that I want to get less of for a while, or because I'm getting too high or too uncomfortably high percentages. But I don't know. That's just kind of my style. If I feel the market is undervaluing guys, I am not afraid to have a really high percentage of them. If I feel the market is overvaluing guys, I'm not afraid to have low percentage. I was chasing overlay, then it filled with people just dumping crazy amounts in auto drafting because you had to do like 75 drafts in 3 days to get a bunch of free tickets. You know what? I was busy right around that last week of when pre-draft stuff was going on or whatever. I heard somebody talking about that the other day, but I guess I missed it. I wasn't really paying that close attention. I was doing other than my normal stuff I have going on throughout the days, I was doing a whole bunch of this time best ball research, really. I had already looked into like a lot of the rookies and stuff like that, but you can never stop, right? You can always look into them a little more, looking into, just different teams and stuff like that. I was doing a bunch of research. So the last week leading up to the actual NFL draft, I didn't do any of those pre-draft contests. I did about 15 or so of them. I don't know. There are things about DK that I don't like necessarily, but it's just one of those things that I've drafted over here for so long now that last year was actually the first year that I drafted some on Underdog. I didn't do any of I didn't do any of BBMs, but I did do, I don't know, maybe 50 puppies but by the time it was all said and done. And I did a whole bunch of those eliminators last year. I think I ended up doing about 60 or 70 of those. I liked it last year. I love it this year. That head to head's gonna be fun. Like, I don't know. I was kind of planning on maybe doing, like, when I thought it would be a like last year before it actually came out. I knew I'd probably do about 50 or 60 of them, but I'm probably going to end up doing about 100 of those eliminators this year just because I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And that is kind of actually one of my ideas that I have. So I want to do about 100 of the eliminators, and then hopefully I get, a decent amount of them out of that first round. And then if I think you start making the money in like week 4. So once we get to like week 5 and 6, one day a week, maybe like a Wednesday night or something, my normal stream time, I'm kind of going to do like an eliminator recap type thing. I'm thinking until I have no more teams that are in the money and in the head to heads. I think it'd be pretty cool to hop on a stream and DK. I might do some of the DK in season best ball that they have. Where like week 6 you draft a best ball team and it's just like the normal best ball, but it basically just starts to week 6. Think that might be a good idea. Maybe like a Wednesday night, hop on, recap my eliminators that I still have live, and then maybe run one of those drafts or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to kick around a bunch of ideas. What do we want to do here? He took Bucky. I was just about to say, I'm going to get Bucky because I don't take him that much. And I don't really like doing the McBride thing right here. I'm going to do the Jacobs thing, but I'm going to reach down and I'm going to pull Wilson up a little bit with him. You don't really see Wilson going right at the turn with Chase. Jacobs goes a lot with Chase. Bucky goes a lot with Chase. McBride goes a lot with Chase. I don't really want McBride right there at the turn. I was going to do Bucky and Wilson, but since the 2-hole took Bucky, I went ahead and took Jacobs and Wilson. Anyways, we're in the 1, and we started with Chase, Jacobs, Wilson. The 2-hole has Barkley, Bucky, and Will Kyron. 3 running back start for him. We'll see if he drafts any more soon. He should not draft another running back for a long time, and then maybe he can make it work, and it might actually turn out really good. We'll see. 3-hole went with Lamb in the 3 spot over JJ. Then he went Taylor and McLaurin. 4-hole went JJ, Higgins, and McBride. That's a nice little combo. See, I talked about it before. That I'm just a half a round behind on him. When McBride starts getting to about 28, 29, 30, if I'm in one of those spots, I'll take him. And when Bauer starts getting more to the middle of the second round, because, then when you're pairing McBride with, let's say, a Robinson or a Gibbs, you're getting McBride at least with guys that he's not paired with all the time. Same thing when you get like Bowers with like a Gibbs or a Robinson, or, even Amon isn't that frequent of a pairing with him. But I feel like to really take advantage of having an elite tight end, to me, I just like it better when he's with a unique first round player, because let's face it, tight ends aren't going to have that many 30, 35 point games. That's not what you're drafting when you draft a McBride or Bowers. You're just drafting them because you think they're either going to be the tight end 1 or right there at tight end 2, and they could definitely give you the type of week that kind of sets you apart from a lot of the other tight ends with maybe a 28 or something. But if you're especially when you start thinking about those playoff weeks, if your Bowers and your neighbors is in a pod with 5 other neighbors and Bowers teams. I don't know. I'd rather be in there if I have Bowers with 4 other neighbor teams and my Bowers and Gibbs team, and I'm the only one that has Gibbs and Bowers, and all I need to do is have Gibbs outscore neighbors, and I got a big leg up. The eliminator idea is cool and would be cool to see how it changes over the course of certain players, probably advancing more than others. Yeah, yeah. So keep it a secret, Hartman. Now, I don't know. I'm sure other people probably have the same idea, but I just thought it would be a cool thing to do. I'm really trying to think of different things that I can do during the course of the year because I want to keep my channel straight best ball. I don't really want to get into like I don't play in a lot of dynasty leagues. I'm only in my one dynasty league that I've been in forever with some guys, so I put very little time into it as far as like dynasty rankings or anything like that. But our draft is later. We don't do our rookie draft until like right at the beginning of August. So by the time we get there, I've done did so much dang work on the rookies for best ball and been drafting them all summer that I already know who I like, who I don't like, where I like them at, all that good stuff. So I don't want to venture out into like best ball or, I very rarely play DFS anymore. Um, so I don't really want to try to get into like that. I want to do what I'm passionate about, best ball, but there's not a whole lot of best ball going on during the regular season other than the DraftKings has the little in-season things. So that was one thing that I thought of that might be kind of cool to do. I'm definitely next year like will do a whole lot more than I ever have of the pre-draft contest or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that one I'll stick more to Underdog. You say that it was kind of some bogus stuff going on with DraftKings there at the end, but you never know. It might turn out to your favor, man, because auto drafted teams aren't necessarily a great thing. We like Ted a lot, and we hadn't really been able to get him at a good price because people love to push him up the board. So we're going to take him. I'm not super in on Harvey. Don't really want Hurts on this type of team. I'm going to take J-Mo. I wanted to go Metcalf, but J-Mo's younger. Even if Rodgers comes back, we don't know if Rodgers is really going to be washed or if Rodgers is going to have something left. J-Mo is definitely explosive as our 4th wide receiver. We kind of like that a lot. We have Wilson on here, and I've already been on Fields. I talk about how I like drafting Fields a lot at his ADP. I think it's back to the Chicago days, like I don't think Fields is going to miraculously be way better of a quarterback, but I think it's going to be a lot of him and Wilson, him and Wilson, him and Wilson, other than the running game, of course, with the running backs. And if that first read or two isn't there, back to his early Chicago days where he just takes off with it. And what I really mean by his Chicago days is there's no other quarterback who's taking his job this year if he's healthy. It would have to get really, really ugly and really, really bad I don't even know who the backup quarterbacks are on the roster, but whoever it is, I've looked before and I know it's not anybody that I was worried about taking his job. I forget who it is, though. Y'all help me out if you remember. Chat's always better about that stuff than me. We need Who Hames here. Who Hames just won that Best Ball Jeopardy thing, I think, or whatever. That guy knows his stats, apparently. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Anything looks suspicious. Henry keeps moving up more and more and more. And here is my draft rant. When I am in the 9 or the 10 spot, I can never get my boy Nico to flip around to me in the second round. But I don't quite like taking him over Amon, and I don't like taking him over Neighbors, and I don't like taking him over Puka. So I really, if I'm in 11 or 12, that's when I normally end up with Nico. Sometimes I think I've gotten him at 10. But it seems like 1 out of every 3 drafts, when I'm somewhere more in the front part of the board, Nico flips around here to that 15-16 pick. But he will never flip around there whenever it's me. I swear. It's because they know I like my Texans, I guess. I am a Texans fan, but I try not to draft by my fandom or anything. I try to take that out of it. That comes during the regular season whenever I'm just rooting for them as a team to do good. But McBride and Bowers, I like getting them when they get pushed back. And I haven't been, we drafted Hurts on that last one, but in general, we haven't really been drafting a lot of the elite quarterbacks on DraftKings because I feel like at some point, Allen's going to get moved back to consistently more like maybe end of the second, early third. I just feel like they're not going to get more expensive. The only way that they can go is get cheaper or stay the same. We're not even to the end of May yet. So I've just kind of been chilling and waiting. I'll take them whenever I can get them a little cheaper or at some point late in the summer. If they stay where they're at all year, then I can start taking some more of them then. So I just kind of been playing them. If they fall and it makes sense for the team build I'm doing, I'll grab them. If not, I don't. Let's see what we want to do here. I don't really want Montgomery. I can't really get myself in on him. I don't really like the rookie. I like Olave a lot. I think he's undervalued. Him and Waddle are 2 guys that I really think are undervalued a lot. Since he play up there, I forget. Where are they even at on there? Play Arizona and Miami. That's right. Oh, and we're on us. I'm going to go ahead and take Olave probably here. It's too early for a quarterback. We don't really have anybody we want there. Don't like him. Don't really like him. Debating if I want to go with Judy or Jennings. I don't know who Judy's quarterback is going to be. I believe they have kind of a really bad playoff schedule. I'm going to go with Jennings. Kittle's gone already. We could have reached a little bit and got Hawkinson. But Jennings is good. And we're at 6 receivers and only 1 running back. But we love this receiver team. We got a Chase, Jacobs, our lone workhorse at running back. And then we got Wilson, Tet, J-Mo, Olave, Jennings. That is one heck of a core of receivers if you ask me. Feel pretty good about them. We'll see. I'm going to save a 7th receiver for late in the draft if something comes up. But if other positions seem to be more valuable as the draft goes on, I would be okay capping this particular team. Hold on. What are you doing, T? I would be okay capping this particular team at 6 receivers. You know, and I don't have a set style of build. I've talked about it before. I'm more of a see what the room gives me. I have my guys that I like. I am definitely y'all know me now. Y'all see me drafting some of the same people. I'm definitely a flag planner. I will go get my guys, especially as we get later in the draft, and guys that I think are undervalued. Like I started to talk about it a minute ago. Olave and Waddle, these are guys that we consistently took at the 2-3 turn the last few years. Olave, yes, there's concerns with him. I am not in any way saying he should be way up there on the board. But where he's at right now, I think is an excellent value. So he is a target of mine. If his brain's healthy, if he doesn't have a bunch of concussions again, they're going to be a bad team. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. They play in a dome. Let's see. They have a nice playoff schedule. They play at home against Carolina. They play at home against the Jets. And they play on the road at Tennessee. Their schedule, or the implied points total on that little chart I've been using, is close to 24-point average those 3 games. We like it. We liking the squad so far. That 2-hole, let's go look at him. He had drafted 3 running backs to start, took a break and went with Worthy and Smith, then went back to another running back in Montgomery, then took Kupp as a third receiver. That's a little sketchy, but is what it is. The Genty drafter over here did the Raiders thing and then went with Daniels, Brees, and Hurts. Mahomes is paired up with Rice. Amon drafter took Allen. McCaffrey's another guy. He's starting to move more and more up. That's the first time I've seen him go at 7. But, he started out right there at the beginning of the second round. And he's slowly but surely starting to push his way consistently into the first round. I'm going to flip over here for a minute. We want to try to start looking and seeing what we want to do. It's going to be 90-something. We're at the turn. So we want to get Fields. We probably have to go ahead and take him in a minute. We also need some running backs. I'm not huge on Swift, but if he comes to me at that discount, we'll take him. Probably don't need or shouldn't go receiver here. Who's Baltimore play? Baltimore plays Cincy in week 15. At least it's some kind of playoff stack. I'm not out on Andrews. But I think what I want to do here, well, somebody took Fields, so that makes it a little easier on us. Yep, somebody took Fields. We'll have to find us a different QB in a little bit. I think I'm going to take Warren because I want to get another running back who I think will for sure be involved. I'm going to let that run out because I'm thinking about what we want to do with our next pick. We don't really want to reach for Purdy necessarily. We're going to grab another running back. I've been drafting Scatterbo more lately. I'm going to go with Tracy. I feel like this is the team. The way I've been playing the Giants running backs is if I feel like the team, when I get to that point, like if I already have 2 running backs that I drafted earlier and it takes Scatterbo, then because I feel like if it takes him a little while to, we don't know, is it going to be a 50-50 timeshare to start the year and then all year? Is Tracy going to be the guy all year and Scatterbo just be the backup? Is at some point Scatterbo going to replace him? The one thing that I don't see necessarily happening is right away from, let's say, week one, the rookie taking the job and Tracy taking the back seat, and the rookie, carrying a 75% workload while Tracy just gets a little bit of, backup role work. I don't see that happening. If Scatterbo ends up being the starter, I think it'll be later in the year. So the way I've been playing those two, if I want to draft one of them, if they're around ADP and I need a running back, if it's a team like this where I feel like I only have Warren with Jacobs, which I know what I'm getting with Jacobs, but Warren, like, how much is the rookie there going to play starting right away week one? I feel like Warren will definitely be involved, but the rookie, they'll probably get in the game too to see what he can do. So if it's a team where I feel like I could use more early season production from the Giants, then I've kind of been leaning Tracy. Where if, let's say I had Chuba and Jacobs on this team, two guys that I feel pretty good about starting out the season, that's the type of team that I'd be more likely to lean with Scatterbo. And all of a sudden in the last 3 rounds, we've had a crazy run on quarterbacks. So we're going to have to start trying to see what we want to do. We saved some receivers. Let's look here. Let's see what we want to do. Pittman's out there. If he makes it back, there's always AR that we can just throw out there unstacked. We could go with Kirk and CJ. I have Olave, so we could try to get Shaheed too. I know Rattler, they said looked good in the first day of the other day, and they say they're going to let them two split. But I just feel like they kind of know what they got with Rattler. We have Tet, so we can also keep Bryce as an option. I'll get it back to the board for you guys. I was just kind of going through some stuff in my head and trying to plan out what we want to do at quarterback. It's definitely starting to feel like a 19th round Milrow team. He'll be my third. And I don't know. He's a guy that y'all know. I keep smashing him in those late rounds. I just feel like the upside, if it happens, and there's a good chance that it happens late in the season, him taking over for Darnold. I'm not a Darnold believer. There's a big difference going from Minnesota in a dome with the best receiver in football, or at least 1A, 1B, him and Chase. Jefferson's probably a little better just in a nutshell as the actual player. What would JJ do if he's had Burrow these last 4 years, 5 years? But it's a big difference going to Seattle, outdoors, rains there a lot, gets cold there later in the year. It's no dome. JSN is not Justin Jefferson. I don't know. And he's another guy that one of the reasons I'm drafting him so heavy right now is I feel like we're going to get to about late June, early July, somewhere in there. And you're going to start getting some clips of him, completing some nice looking passes or breaking off a crazy run. And he isn't going to be in the 19th round anymore. He's going to be in about the 16th round or so. We looked at a board the other night, and we looked at all the just dirt, nasty quarterbacks that go 3-4 rounds ahead of where he goes in the 19th and 20th. And I just feel really strongly that when we get to that point and we start seeing these nice clips of him, especially if there's any kind of report about Darnold not looking good, he's just going to really move up the board by a few rounds. And so I just plan on having a really big bag of him by that point. Then I can chill drafting him, let everybody else draft him in the 15th round, and I'll go start looking for something else to get in 19 and 20. That's kind of how I'm playing it. All right, it's getting over here to us. Let's take a look at the QBs. It's not really a lot we can do with that. It's not any running backs that we love right there. Don't really like anything right there though either. What are we at? 120. Might reach for one of those guys. Don't really like that. We don't have a tight end yet. I am not out on Njoku like everybody else is. I know they have the rookie, but I still think he's a pretty good tight end. So I'm going to take him. I'm going to go ahead and reach a little bit and take Shaheed. I like Shaheed a lot. And this is looking like a team where I may go with Shuck as like a second QB. Maybe like a Richardson Shuck type thing. I know it's gross, but we got to do what we got to do sometimes. Or Bryce. We got Bryce. I'll probably go Bryce actually. But I wouldn't mind having like Bryce and Shuck. That's actually smarter the more I think about it. I like Richardson's rushing upside, but there is the chance that he gets benched. So I really like Richardson as a second QB whenever I have a starting QB that I know I feel really good about. I try to always have a third QB on that type of team. One thing I like doing a lot, if I have like, let's say I have a CJ or a Kyler or a Bo Nix, somebody in this big pocket of quarterbacks right here, even Fields, who I feel like is the really good starting QB that I can depend on. One thing that I like doing is, let's say we have like a Caleb Williams and we have some Bears, take AR because he goes so dang late in the draft, and then throw Milroe on there in the 19th round. And I could see that working out where, like, okay, even if at some point the Colts just have to throw the towel in on Richardson, that'll probably be about the time that Seattle's about ready to give up on Darnold and bring Milroe in. So I just kind of go from, like, my QB2 having a elite rushing upside to my new QB2 having elite rushing upside, and then I got my steady Eddie. Whenever I do that, I like to do it mostly with like Dak or Bo Nix or like, Purdy or maybe even Fields, somebody that has a later bye week versus like a Caleb who has a really early bye week. Just kind of buys me a little more time. All right, let's see. Give me just a second here, guys. I'm going to do something on this other thing real quick. Go to that. And Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm trying to pull something else up on my other computer over here. All right. Wonder. Okay, so that 2 hole over there, he slowed down a lot. He took the 3 running backs, and then he took Montgomery, and he only had Cup as his 3rd receiver. Then he took 2 quarterbacks. Ooh. But I would not want to be at the point of the draft where we are in the 12th round and you have Bateman as your 4th receiver, and that's it at receiver. It's pretty tough. That might be a little too tough to climb out of. The 10 hole over here only has 3. Let's look at his. He's got Debo, Shakir, and Josh Downs as his 3rd receiver, and he's already made his 12th round pick. So it will be at least the 13th round before he can add a 4th receiver. Congratulations to you. You have Jaden Daniels, Hurts, and Geno Smith, though. So you have 3 nice QBs, or 2 really good QBs, and a we'll see 3rd one. But you need a lot more receivers, my man. I don't really like to reach, but we're probably going to go ahead and reach on Bryce. Hunter Henry's already, he's still on the board. I thought he would be. We may have to. Now, I'm not a big take the discount type guy normally. Talked about how I like Bigsby, but I need a quarterback, and Drake May runs a little bit, and he's sitting out there 20-something picks past ADP. So I think I am, even though I don't do it a whole lot, going to just take the discount on him. And then we're going to pair him with this rookie and see what the rookie can do. I'm not that high on the rookie. No, I'm not going to do that. Whatever. I'll run him unstacked if I have to. What I'm actually going to try to do is get Hunter Henry and then probably get really, really gross in the final round, in round 20, and throw Polk on there. You never know. We could also go with Douglas. We got options with him. We can backstack him. And you don't get Drake May 20 picks past ADP too often. We needed a quarterback because we got sniped on Fields. We were trying to get Fields to come to us. Where was it? Here. We were planning on taking him right there. So we had to make a little detour. That makes us feel a little bit better about whatever our QB room will end up looking like and turning out. Because we'll probably try to get Bryce. Well, never mind. Bryce just went. We have Shaheed and we have Olave, though. So we'll probably try to take Shook now since Bryce just went. But we're okay with that. We got May at a really nice value. I'm not generally the type that will take a QB just because he's fallen, but we're in the 12th round and I really needed a QB, and I knew there was a couple, not ideal. I really would like to have May with Diggs. Diggs may start out slow, but I think he's going to be, good at the end of the year when it matters. I don't really like their rookie that much, so who knows? Maybe year 2 Polk is way better than year 1 Polk. We liked Polk last year. Or Douglas. Douglas has a little speed and a little juice to him. We'll see. Flipping back around to us here in the 14th round. Let's go ahead and see what we're working with in some of these other teams. We are sitting with just the one Drake May we drafted, 4-7-1. We really wanted to keep this team at just 7 wide receivers, but we may have to go ahead and take an 8th just because we want to have at least some stacked receivers with Drake May. We'll see, though. If we do, it'll be a 20th round guy, so we're not too worried about it, I guess. Two-hole has a 2-4-4-3. We have three-hole has a 1-5-5-2 going on. Let's just see if there's any weird ones. What is this 8-hole over there doing? He started Amon and Allen. Then he went Mixon and Kamara. Metcalf, Laporta, Robinson, Pacheco. He's got a nice little team going. I don't love the Schultz pick. Took him a second quarterback now, and he got AR for an upside rusher. The 12-hole went Puka, Thomas, Hill, and Adams. Then got the old reliable Connor, and then went with the rookies Judkins and Johnson. I like Judkins. I am higher on Judkins in the Eliminator, just with running backs being a lot. You need the running backs in the Eliminator. They are getting pushed up those boards big time. If you don't have 2 or 3 running backs by round 6 or 7 that you feel good about, it starts getting really, really ugly really quickly. We're going to hope that, good Lord, they are killing the quarterbacks in this room. Does everybody have 3? See what's out here at tight end. We're going to go ahead and get Henry just so we can make sure we have somebody. And I'm going to go ahead and reach because it is DraftKings and I'm at the corner. And we're late enough in the draft that reaching isn't really that big of a deal. It's more important to have a team that we can be successful with. And we already have Shaheed and Olave. And if we didn't take Shook, somebody would have probably took him just even unstacked because DraftKings, everybody likes having 3, sometimes 4 quarterbacks. And we would rather reach 18 picks or whatever it was in the 15th round and make sure we have our QB2 stacked double with Shaheed and Olave. We took Henry right before that in the first part of the turn so that we could have somebody to go with May. We grabbed Bigsby the round before that whenever we grabbed May as a 4th running back. I am still in on Bigsby. I don't know. I just talked about it in the first draft. The first draft we took Tootin because Tootin actually fell about 20 picks past ADP right to the range where Bigsby goes. And so that draft I did take the rookie Tootin. But in general, I like Bigsby and he's about 20-something picks cheaper than the rookie is. So for right now, I keep passing on the rookie and I keep drafting Bigsby when I want to run him back in that area. Tomorrow, Friday night, we will be on at about the same time. We're going to talk contest selection at the beginning. I'm going to take a break from the player deep dives, and we're going to talk a little bit about contest selection, what types of contests I like playing in, what some of the breakdowns are, maybe some of the ones that people aren't as into or don't know about. DraftKings just came out with an interesting one that's not really one that I've seen them do before. At least it's at a different price point. It's set up like their $100 ones and their higher dollar ones where it's like Of course, 2 or 12 in the first round, and then I think it's maybe like 2 of something, either 10 or 12 in the second round, and then 1 of 8 maybe in the third round. But it's a $33 tournament. Normally those type with DraftKings are either like 50 or 100. This one was, it's only 13 more dollars than the big $2 million one, but it's got a lot better odds, at least, of advancing, or percentage wise should be easier to get out of rounds 15 and 16. So I may end up doing a couple of those. We'll see. If I do anything bigger than the big 2 million one as far as price point, I think I probably want to at least wait a little more into the summer. Although it wouldn't be bad to maybe do one of the $33 ones now, just to kind of, take advantage of some of these prices that I think are bad. Really just use it as a go get my guys type of draft. Oh, let's see here. Finish this one up. Bring it down the home stretch. We're finishing up 16, about to hop into 17. We could use us another running back. This is about the point in the draft where I like to start looking for my boy Shipley. We don't want to take another receiver unless it's the very last pick, and hopefully either Polk or Douglas is there. Probably wouldn't be Douglas, but we wouldn't mind taking Polk. Nobody else wants him, and he could just very well be the guy you need. I know he did absolutely nothing last year, but hey, this is a whole different year. We like Pat Bryant, but we want to save that last receiver spot. So I think another guy that I like a lot, and he kind of matches up with the guy I'm going to hope to take in the 19th round, is we'll go Arroyo for, I believe, my third tight end. And we're going to take Shipley because I like taking Shipley here. We have a 2-5-7-3. We have 3 more picks coming to us. The 18th, 19th, and then the 20th. Probably when it comes back to us, if he's there, it will be a Milroe pick and then another running back pick. We'll see. Everybody should have like 3 or 4 quarterbacks by now, at least most of them. So he may come. I guess one thing I can do, I always like to kind of try to think ahead, think of a backup plan, think about what I want to do. And if Milroe goes, then we could get Gross and draft Spencer Rattler and do the handcuff quarterback. Because I only have Drake May, and I do have 2 New Orleans receivers. So then at some point in the year, whether it's early and late or vice versa, if Shuck and Rattler both end up playing a decent amount, one gets benched for the other, then at least I would always have a QB2 to go with May. And whoever that QB2 is, I would have them paired up with 2 receivers. So that wouldn't be the worst thing ever. We'll see what comes to us, though. Hopefully nobody takes him, because we would like to just throw Milroe on there and be done with it, have the late season upside. But I have noticed more and more people are starting to get in on it. I have noticed, when I first started taking him 2 weeks ago, you could get him in the 20th round or the very end of the 19th round every single draft. I've seen him go as high as the middle of the 18th round. I saw him go there the other night. Wasn't me that took him there, but I saw him go there. So I think people are starting to realize that, like, what do we have to lose in the 18th, 19th, 20th rounds? And that, again, I keep saying it, all it is going to take, let's look at these guys. Are you telling me that as soon as we see a couple highlight reel things from Milroe, and then knowing that Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold, he's not going to be going at least right here in this 15th round? I mean, are we really going to take Russell Wilson and Shadur Sanders over the potential of a guy that could be an elite rusher and probably will be playing for them late in the year? I don't know. I think it's very not smart of the market to not be more in on him at this time of the year. So as long as he continues to stay where he's at, I will keep smashing away on him. Old man Rogers went in the 18th. And that's part of what it boils down to also is, they're just the 18th, 19th, and 20th rounds. A lot of those guys are going to be zeros anyway, so let me take a zero. If I'm going to take a zero, I want to take a zero because I took a chance on, if I'm right on that particular play, the upside is really big and could help me a lot when it matters late in the year. And I try to stay away from guys that, okay, what do we win when we win? Okay, the receiver maybe give us a usable week with 12 points when 3 of our receivers were on a bye week, or 2 were on a bye week and 2 were hurt. So far, he's hanging in there. We'll see if he comes back to us. This one's wrapping up, boys. We're in the 18th round, ticking down. If you're finding my channel and you're new for the first time, it's JT Best Ball. I'm on live Monday through Friday, starting about 9:45. We may end up bumping it to 10. We'll see. You guys let me know. What time would you prefer? Would you prefer me come on 9:30, 9:45, 10, somewhere in there? Put it in the comments. I will definitely keep it in mind. Try to be a man of the people. If you like my content, if you would be as kind as to smash that like button for me, it does help us out a lot. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, all that good stuff so you know when I'm coming out. But we're going to try to be pretty consistent Monday through Friday with our live streams. Sunday is going to be Sunday Fun Day, in which we're going to do some eliminator drafts, still starting about the same time. I'm going to take Giddens again. We took him in the last draft. We'll take him in this draft too. I feel like his backup job is pretty safe. We don't know for sure if it's going to be Hunter or Corum. If I take one of those two, it's Hunter. But we don't know for sure. So I like Giddens over them because I feel like I know he'll probably be the backup for them unless he's just not good. But I kind of like him as a prospect. When it comes back to us in the 20th round, I don't think anybody will want Polk, especially since they don't have Drake May. We will end the draft with Polk just to give May a double stack. I don't really expect much out of Polk, but they did just draft him last year, and sometimes it takes guys a year or so to adjust to the league. As a 20th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, the very last pick in the draft, paired with Drake May. If he's one of those guys I was just talking about, and he happens to give me like a 12 or 15 point week when I could really use it somewhere in the middle of the season, I will take that. we'll go ahead and recap our team since we're coming down to the end and it'll be a while till it gets to us. Quarterbacks, we got Drake May on a nice little 20 pick discount. We took Shook, and we just took our boy Milroe. Running backs, we have Jacobs, we have Warren, we have Tracy, we have Bixby, Shipley, and then we just took Giddens. Wide receiver, we were picking from the one hole, so we have Chase, we have Wilson, we have Tet, we have J-Mo, we have Jennings, we have Shaheed with the Lave for that double we talked about. And we'll probably end with Polk as long as he's still there. Tight end room is looking like Njoku and Henry paired with May and Arroyo paired with some late season rookie action. Milroe to Arroyo. I like that. Milroe to Arroyo. Sounds pretty good, and I think it could be pretty exciting. See what these last few guys do. Thank you, Hartman. I like the way it turned out. That I really feel like with this team that getting Drake May on a discount like that really, really helped us. We were getting real worried that this was going to have to be another gross QB team. I probably, if Drake May wouldn't have been there, I probably would have taken Bigsby and Young there. And just seeing how it worked out. Hold on. I always do that wrong. It's not anywhere near me yet. Seeing how it worked out now, if May wouldn't have been there, we probably would have went Bigsby and Young here. That's what I was about to do, but then I was like, you know what? I'll take May and backstack him with something. And then we probably would have been looking to get AR here, but he wouldn't have made it to us, so we still would have had to take Shook. It would have been about the same in a nutshell. Because he runs more, I think I like Drake May a little more than Bryce Young. The market seems to think that way also, so I'll take him with the discount. I was kind of hoping maybe I could get lucky and Bryce would come all the way back to where Henry was at, and then we would have taken Henry, but we had earlier took Shaheed as kind of a backup plan because we knew we could get Shook late. Worked out. We like it. Definitely think it's a team that's live and has a chance. We'll see how the season plays out. That's part of the fun of it. We don't know what's going to happen. It's the NFL. It's chaotic. Guys get injured. Teams that are bad that we think we're going to be good. Teams that we think we're going to be good. Yes, I agree with that. Especially, I have a lot of good depth early at receiver, so I should easily get 4 nice scores most weeks out of that. Jacobs does his thing. Think we can piece together a decent RB2 between Warren, Tracy, and Bigsby. Maybe we get lucky late in the year and either JT or Barkley miss some time. And I don't know. I could be wrong, but I am pretty confident in my Milroe take. I don't think Seattle's going to be that good. Just when you tie everything in, the fact they play outdoors, you're going from O'Connell to, Kubiaks are generally, good play callers. That system is a good system in general. But you're going from an indoor dome to playing outdoors in Seattle. It's rainy. It's wet there a lot. JJ to JSN. I don't think Darnold's going to make it long myself. Anyways, that's the team, guys. I'm going to get off here. My kids still have school tomorrow and then 3 days of next week. It's stupid. Like, they're out for Memorial Day, and then they turn around and go for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But they already having them turn in their computers and everything, and all the work is due tomorrow. So they're literally got to make us keep waking up early to go to school for no reason because they're gonna watch movies and stuff all day. I don't get to Milrow much on Underdog, but I love to pick on DK. I'm massively fading Darnold regardless. Yeah, I feel you. Um, I did a couple puppies today, and I think I took him in one of mine, but it was a 3 QB build. You know, one that I do like a lot on DraftKings, where like I took I forget who it was, but I took two other QBs and then Milrow. It's not that wasn't the plan. I got sniped on some QBs I wanted in that particular draft. I stuck with two tight ends. I think you don't have the luxury I'm not gonna do any BBMs, but I'm gonna do a fair amount of like the puppies. Probably won't do any off streams just since I'm kind of making the streaming nights my DK thing, and I'm gonna do those underdog Sundays or whatever. I mean the eliminator Sundays. But anyways, on there I tend to either go 3 QBs or three tight ends. I think it's really hard to do both because then you're just, with the less 18 rounds and you're going to be thinner than you want at running back or wide receiver. Anyways, it was fun. Hope y'all enjoyed it. This is JT. I'll be back on tomorrow about the same time. Have a good night. Talk to you guys later. Some of you I'll be chatting with tomorrow in the Discords because that's what we do all day is talk about ball.